29th school board meeting for Campbell County School Board to order. And we'll all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So first on our agenda is our public hearing to discuss the 26-27 operating budget. So I'm going to open the public hearing regarding the 26-27 school operating budget, and it's a time of 6:31.
And this chair, no one signed up to speak tonight.
Okay, with no one signed up to speak, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing regarding the 26-27 school operating budget at 6:31. Thank you. All right, next up, Jillian Jerku. We have a student from Rustburg High School. Presentation on SB 122, our students with diabetes in Virginia schools. So Jillian, you have the mic. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming tonight.
Thank you for having me. First and foremost, I want to thank you all for granting me time to speak today on my recent experiences in Richmond advocating for students with type 1 diabetes. My name is Jillian Jerkow. I'm a senior at Rustburg High School as well as the Central Virginia Governor's School for Science and Technology. Oh no. There we go. Okay, so first of all, how did I get involved in this opportunity? So every year at the Governor's School, the juniors conduct a research project. And as I've been a type 1 diabetic for 15 years, I automatically knew that I wanted my research to focus on type 1 diabetes. So my research project was titled Impacts of Type 1 Diabetes on Caretakers' Well-Being. And I did a survey. So I posted this survey in a lot of Facebook groups with type 1 diabetic parents and caretakers online to collect participants. And there's me at Science Fair. And this woman here with the arrow, her name is Carrie Murphy. She's the founder of Follow T1Ds, which is a nonprofit that advocates for K-12 students living with type 1 diabetes. She reached out to me via Facebook Messenger because she found my survey online and she thought I would be a good candidate to represent the nonprofit in Richmond. So now just a little bit about the bill. So here's a very short summary. I have also provided a paper that goes a little bit more in depth if you'd like to look at that. But essentially, Senate Bill 122 modernizes the language in the Code of Virginia to more accurately reflect how diabetes is managed with current technology and medical advancements. This code has not been updated since 1997. Can you imagine if you were using the same computer from 1997 or the same Nokia cell phone? Life would be a lot harder if you weren't able to evolve and adapt to the technical advances. This bill also allows, with parent and provider permission, trained and willing school staff to assist students with the administration of their insulin, including the replacement of an insulin pump site. The bill also addresses the unhindered use of a student's smartphone for managing their diabetes. Even though generally Virginia students are restricted from cell phone use in schools. So I think it's very important to understand what the bill does, but also just to clarify what the bill does not do. So the FDA has approved insulin pump insertion and reinsertion for non-medical licensed users like myself, and pump insertion is not limited to or routinely performed by licensed providers in a clinical setting. So I mean, I don't even have a high school degree yet, and I perform an insulin pump insertion every 3 days at home. And it also does, the bill is intentional about not creating a disruptive framework where school employees would be abandoning assigned duties to assist students with diabetes care. This man here is Senator Jeremy McPike. He is the patron of this bill. And now I will talk a little bit about my first experience in Richmond on January 29th. So my mom and I traveled to Richmond on January 29th. We arrived at the General Assembly roughly around noon. The Senate was having a meeting prior to our subcommittee meeting, so we sat and waited in Jeremy McPike's office, the senator I just showed you, until we were ready to go down. Unfortunately, this meeting the Senate was in was quite long as they were discussing redistricting, so we ended up waiting 3 hours before we were called back to the subcommittee room. Around 4 p.m. the meeting began, and Senator McPike introduced the bill before calling myself and others up for our testimonies. I gave my testimony following Follow T1D's founder, Carrie Murphy, and I spoke about how much type 1 diabetes care has evolved since I was diagnosed. And following our testimonies, the subcommittee passed the bill forward to the full committee, which I will now talk about my full committee experience. This was last Thursday, February 5th. The full committee was 15 state senators total in the Education and Health Committee. This day we arrived around 8:15 a.m. and by 8:30 a.m. we were sitting in that Senate room right there, and we were testifying in front of this committee. Our bill was the first to be presented, and shortly thereafter I shared another testimony pertaining to experience I had while taking a final test last year where my blood sugar levels became dangerously high. My insulin pump battery had died during an AP exam and caused my blood sugar to skyrocket. However, since I didn't have my smartphone readily available, I had no way of checking my blood sugar. My testimony was not the only impactful one this day. Numerous type 1 diabetic parents, other students, family members, school nurses, and licensed pediatric endocrinologists also spoke in support of this bill. So where's the bill now? As you can see here, the bill passed through the Senate subcommittee as well as the Senate full committee. The bill passed through the Senate full committee unanimously and is now being sent to be heard by the Senate to vote on whether they will pass the bill. If the Senate passes the bill, it will go to the House subcommittee, House full committee, and then to a House vote. And there's a complementary House bill, HB 1303, that will reconcile with SB 122 if it passes. And this image here has a link to the website where you can keep up with it if you're interested. So why is this important? So it's important because insulin is the only treatment for high blood sugars, and if a child is without their insulin pump for extended periods of time, there can be life-threatening consequences. Again, technology has developed so much since I was first diagnosed 15 years ago, and it is important that the standards of care we use in our schools accurately reflect these developments. And finally, in elementary school, I was picked up early by my mom roughly once a week due to insulin pump-related issues. Had there been an adult in the school who could have helped me, I wouldn't have missed nearly as much time due to my complications. And then finally, I included some additional photos. So this first photo is me standing outside of the committee room, room 305. This next photo is myself along with Follow T1D's executives, Carrie Murphy, the woman in the middle, her name's Kelly, and then the woman on my right, her name's Jennifer. And then finally, this is a photo of me with State Senator for Campbell County, Senator Mark Peake, following my testimony in the subcommittee meeting. I've also included a few resources on this slide if you'd like to learn more about the bill. And now I will do my best to answer any questions you may have.
So Jillian, I've got a question for you.
Yes,
I know you couldn't have your phone during your AP exam, but are you able to have your phone in the classroom
Yes, ma'am.
to be able to use? Okay, that's what I was thinking.
With my 504 plan, yeah, I am able to have it.
But you're not allowed to have it for the AP exam. You're not.
I think I would have to have an accommodation, I think, to do that. Yes, ma'am.
And I heard you had some exciting news that you just signed for your next year plans.
Yes, I put my deposit down to go to Virginia Tech next year to study biochemistry just yesterday. So.
Go.
Thank you.
Congratulations. That's
Thank you
wonderful.
so much.
You did a great job tonight. It's very impressive to go to Richmond and have the experience that you've had.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Of course, I'm honored to share it with you guys. Appreciate your support.
What are the reservations about a bill like this just sailing through?
Some people had reservations about, like, for example, the chair of the subcommittee, Senator Van Valkenburg. He is a teacher, and he had concerns about teachers leaving duties like IEP meetings to help students with type 1 diabetes. So there were a couple substitutions in the bill that ensured stuff like that wouldn't happen. So it was mostly, that was the main one, was they were concerned that teachers would abandon other duties to help a student if they needed to, but there have been things put in place to prevent that.
Thank you.
And I think House Bill 624, that was just, like, that's kind of going alongside on the House one for 1301, that is kind of putting in a lot of those reservations that people have had with the other one, that it seems like it's going to go through with those amendments to that.
Yeah.
Because I looked into it this weekend to see kind of
thank
where it
you.
was, but there was that side one that I think took care of all of that concerns.
Yep.
So hopefully it'll go through.
Yeah, I'm hopeful.
Well, I think it's very important that you got out and you advocated for something that you feel strongly about that affects you personally. I think as you grow older, you'll realize that that's very integral in us being functional adults in society. So you've already got a great head start, and good luck on your new adventures coming up soon at Virginia Tech.
Thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome.
Anything else? Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I'm so honored to have this opportunity.
What are you going to present at the governor's school at the night y'all present your projects? What do I get to hear from you?
So my research project, I completed that last year.
What was it on?
My research project was on the impact of type 1 diabetes on caregivers' well-being. So it was trying to see if having a child with type 1 diabetes negatively impacted the mental health of a parent or caretaker.
Jillian is also one of our student advisory group members, so we really appreciate her and her leadership.
Thank you so much.
And we'll be meeting with her on Wednesday.
And she will be sharing with them as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Give her a
much.
hand.
All right, our next item on the agenda is matters from the floor, and I think we have nobody that has signed up for that as well. So we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the approval of the minutes from January 12th meeting. Do I have a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Jones and second by Mr. Maddox. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Move on to our next item, payment of the bills.
Madam
have a
Chairman,
motion?
Madam Chairman, I reviewed the bills and everything looks in order. Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to approve by Mr. Jones, second by Mr. Pearman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll move on to the next item. Okay, Ms. McClanahan.
Tonight you have 16 donations for approval, and I would ask that you approve it as presented.
Motion.
Second. All right, thank you. I have a motion by Mr. Maddox, seconded by Ms. Vaughn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, moving on. Consideration of non-resident tuition.
Tonight you have one applicant for approval. Unless you have any questions on this, I would ask that you approve that.
Motion to approve?
Motion.
Second. Okay, motion to approve by Mr. Jones, second by Mrs. Vaughn. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving on to the next one. Consideration of religious exemptions.
We've got-
Oh, I missed one, I'm sorry. Consideration request for supplemental appropriations.
Tonight you have 5 appropriations for approval. Unless you have any questions on those, I would ask that you approve them as presented.
Motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
So I have a motion to approve by Mr. Maddox, second by Mr. Pearman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving on. Now it's Dr. Wilson. Thank you. Consideration of religious exemptions.
Yes, Dr. Stanley, board members, tonight we have one request for consideration of a religious exemption. Ask that you pass or grant religious exemption as presented. If you have any questions.
Motion to approve.
All right, motion to approve? I was asking for questions first, I'm sorry. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
A motion to approve by Mr. Maddox, second by Ms. Vaughn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving on. Thank you, Dr. Wilson. Personnel report. Conley.
Thank you, Ms. Chairman, and other members of the board. Tonight is our lengthy personnel report, our annual one. It's based on the survey that went out in January to our staff members, letting us know if they know that they're retiring or resigning for the end of the year. So it's our one that's usually longer than others. And then also there's a number of classified hires on here. Our principals made good use of snow days, and they were able to hire some classified staff that have been open for a while. So that's another reason why the personnel report is a little bit lengthier than usual. So unless you have any other questions, I'd ask that you approve it as written.
All right, any questions? It is long.
Okay. And if I could take a minute to update you about the career fair. Thank you to those of you that were able to come on Saturday. It was a great turnout. I was a little afraid the weather was going to keep some folks away, but what else are you going to do on a cold and windy day? So we had about 92 people that came to the career fair on Saturday. And Dr. Boyles wins the prize. She was smart, and I knew there was one applicant that we were going to get a lot of interest in, and she scheduled an interview for, must have been 8-something this morning, and we hired our first applicant from the career fair.
Winner,
So,
winner.
well done, Dr. Boyles. I anticipate many of our other principals getting in touch with me this week as they have follow-up interviews as well.
That's great. Thank you.
I went to that, and first off, I couldn't find a parking place,
That's a good thing.
which was a great thing. And second, I really appreciate the kids that came out.
Yes.
And helped with that. So,
Yes,
no, it
we
was-
had student helpers from each school,
Yeah.
and I've said before, if you eavesdrop on their conversations as they're walking the candidates from the registration table, we did that on purpose because it's a little bit of an awkwardly long walk, but those conversations are great. We give them little prompts of things that they can say to introduce themselves or ask the candidates, where are you coming from, or what kind of a position are you interested in, and it's neat to listen to our students talk to those folks. So.
Yeah, I attended as well, and it was wonderful. It was a lot of anxious people as they walked in the door, but a lot of very welcome smiles from our staff and our administrators. It was wonderful.
This is a group effort event for sure, and all of our staff that was there. We had volunteers, teachers that volunteered to come. They did not have to be there. Our principals and senior staff kind of have to be there, but again, it's a great group effort, so I appreciate it.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the personnel report as presented?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Jones, second by Mr. Pearman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, Dr. Hale, consideration of the multi-year school support plan and targeted support and improvement application.
Good evening, Ms. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Stanley. My presentation will not be quite as exciting as Jillian's. I appreciate her time today, but I am excited to give you our next steps with our TSI application, as well as our multi-year school support plans. Just a reminder, TSI stands for Targeted Support and Improvement. This is a result of our federal identification, which is a part of our new school support framework. I'm going to give you a data review and needs assessment first, and then move into the requirements that are a part of the multi-school year support plan, as well as the application, that have to be considered evidence-based according to federal guidelines, as well as goal statements and our actual TSI application. You do have a folder that contains our multi-year school support plans in full from our 3 schools, which we will talk about them individually, in addition to their summary report, which is posted online as well. So those are those documents that are included. Before I get started, because I do not want to forget, I do want to say a big thank you. A thank you to our senior staff, Ms. Walsh, Dr. Wilkerson, Dr. McCormick, as well as Ms. Robertson, who have been a part of this process, along with our principals and their leadership team. So Ms. Anderson, Ms. Thomas Bennett, as well as Dr. Boyles, they have worked hard. We received the requirements of this January 13th. And we are here before you with our first due date of February 6th is when we had to turn in items, and then this all has to be wrapped up by February 26th. It has been a quick turnaround. So your principals have been working hard throughout the snow, not just shoveling and getting their schools ready and hiring, but also making sure that we're headed in the right direction, and we are pleased with the progress we've made. First, I want to talk to you about the data review for Alta Vista Combined School. You will notice again, their overall score was high enough for them to be on track, but they were identified for targeted support and improvement for students with disabilities only in grades 6 through 8 in middle school reading and math. So we are specifically talking about that student group, and once you are identified, it does technically move you off track, though all of our schools are accredited. Alta Vista Combined School first engaged in a needs assessment, which we've already done because it is February, and we usually do the school improvement process starting for the next school year right around now is when we start to have those conversations, and then in the summer. We know that our students are underperforming in these two subject areas, and in particular, we're seeing that they're growing. So you're gonna notice some themes. Our students are growing, but they may not quite be meeting that proficiency mark of 400. And so that is something that we're continuing to work on. We know that the need is to provide high quality instruction, but also give targeted support to our students, in particular with scaffolds to help them to be able to make progress. And you will also see the term visual representation within regard to math. Part of the application requires that you identify evidence-based interventions, meaning they have strong research to support the strategy. For Alta Vista Combined School, they are focusing specifically on building comprehension to help students with their reading. This is a Tier 1 intervention, meaning it's the top. It has the strongest research from the What Works Clearinghouse, which is a database, and then you can see the steps from there. Again, this is work that we're already focused on in our middle school with our reading program and continuing to do so. For math, for grades 6 through 8, they're focused on teaching students how to use visual representations. Visual representations are good for all learners. They help them make sense of their math as well as problem solving, and this is something that we're continuing to do, in particular with our implementation of the math space curriculum. As a reminder, that is what we use in our secondary schools, grades 6 through 12. So part of this process involves a 3-year plan. Typically when we plan, we usually look at year by year because we're responding to the data more quickly. For reading, Alta Vista Combined School is going to increase the reading SOL proficiency to that minimum of 80 points. That's that threshold level that everyone needs to be about for their students and students with disabilities. And this is going to be done through high quality instruction. That's that aligned Tier 1 instruction everyone receives, as well as the interventions and then progress monitoring. For math, you'll notice this is very similar. That minimum of 80 points, again, focusing on our students with disabilities, similar strategies, but also adding the visual representations to ensure our students are making progress within math. For Alta Vista Elementary, again, they would have been identified as on track, but with this one student group that was in need of improvement for targeted support and improvement, and this was reading and math for Alta Vista Elementary School. Based on their needs assessment, you will notice some trends. Our students are growing, but not quite enough to the proficiency that is needed for that minimum of a 400. And so again, we are seeing lots of progress with our math assessment, which is given to students 3 times a year in elementary, but pushing to encourage them to keep going. This will be done through scaffolded, grade level standards aligned instruction is a need, and then also ensuring our students are getting the services that they need in reading. And then you'll also see the need for that Tier 1 instruction in math and explicit instruction. One term that you'll hear a lot with math that's backed up in the research has to do with mathematical proficiency. So again, performing, not only growing, but performing in those 5 strands. For Alta Vista Elementary, you'll also see this for Leesville Road. We know that K2, and this kind of extends into 3 versus 4 or 5, is a little bit different about the needs that students have within reading. And so the first reading strategy they are focusing on is teaching students to decode words, analyze word parts, and write and recognize words. This is a critical foundation skill. And then you can see how does that actually take place from being able to blend, then understanding spelling and sounds, recognizing common word parts, moving into decoding, and then also knowing those terms, those words that we see all the time versus those that may be less familiar, and making sure that they understand the text as a whole. Again, Tier 1 means it has the strongest level of research to back it up. For grades 4 through 5, you'll notice that we're progressing with reading skills, and this is going to move into decoding skills for those complex multisyllabic words. So again, extending the difficulty level for grades 4 through 5. I won't read you each of the descriptions of that, but you can see again the progression of teaching those vowel and consonant letter sounds, and then also getting to the point where students are able to do it automatically. So those give you those strategies that are associated with that. And then finally for math, they are focusing on making sure that there's systematic instruction during intervention to develop those understanding of mathematical ideas. This ensures that content is reviewed, looking at new concepts and procedures, but making sure it's numbers that the students can work with and understand. Sequencing instruction. Another theme you will see is visual and verbal supports. And then finally, feedback is critical for students as they are making progress in math as well as any other content area. For their 3-year goal statement, again, by the end of 27-28, Alta Vista Elementary School will increase that reading SOL proficiency for students with disabilities to at least 75%. And again, that overall framework score at least 80%. So you're going to see those two numbers. And again, this is through aligned instruction, targeted interventions, and again, that progress monitoring to ensure that we are making progress on the SOL assessed skills. And very similar for math. Students will increase that for students with disabilities to at least 70%, and again, that indicator score of 80%. Focusing on conceptual understanding, being able to work with numbers fluidly, and then also progress monitoring. And then our last school that was identified for targeted support and improvement is Leesville Road. They actually had one of our highest overall framework scores out of all of our elementary schools, but were moved to off track. And this had to do with the performance of student groups, student with disabilities, in reading, math, and science. And again, that breaks that down for each subject area, just to give you an idea of that. Our schools were very close, as we shared previously in December. So again, challenge this. We see that there are some gaps that our students have, but those gaps have been narrowed. We want, Leesville Road is working to continue to look at student needs, make sure those interventions match those needs, and really starting to work on that mathematical understanding, the math proficiency standards, and then also ensuring new science standards are implemented, and that they're able to continue to increase in prior knowledge. You will notice the exact same strategies that I just shared with you for K3 that has to, again, really focusing on that foundational level that students need, and then also for 4-5. Okay, so that's progression, understanding more complex words, and teaching that routinely. For math, Leesville Road is focusing on concrete and semi-concrete representations, meaning, again, multiple representations to help support students with understanding concepts and procedures. And it starts with providing them with that, teaching them, connecting it, having students work with them so that they have that opportunity to practice and then continue to revisit throughout the school year. And for science, academic vocabulary is very important for all of our content areas, especially in science. And so teaching students that set of academic vocabulary terms helps them to make connections between different activities. That again has a tier evidence of 1, the strongest that there is, meaning that they're going to look at text, make sure there's that root of the vocabulary that is needed, choosing that small set to dive more deeply into, and teaching them how to interact with the vocabulary, written, speaking, listening, all in those forms, and then also teaching them word learning strategies. And so for this, Leesville Road, we're putting it all together for the 3-year goal statement that 100% of their students will demonstrate academic achievement in those 3 areas: reading, math, and science. Now, for the logistics piece of the targeted support improvement application, unfortunately, one major roadblock with this is that it cannot be used for personnel. We were hopeful when this came out in December that you could use this for personnel, and you cannot. And it has a very quick turnaround of getting the application in and spending all of the money practically by the start of next school year. Unfortunately, that's a tall ask when we're already doing a lot within our school divisions and are making a lot of progress and growth. Additionally, we are finishing up our last year of All in Virginia funds. So those funds have already been set aside and we are already using those in that way. So unfortunately, this was not going to meet the needs that we have. And that is why you'll still continue to see us paying attention and being mindful of that need with our 3 schools. So the TSI application, we're not applying for any money. We still have to do it. And it was due Friday as an initial due date, but it does require that I ask, which I will after answering questions, approval from the school board to submit the application, but not actually apply for any money for that. And our principals have done a phenomenal job of ensuring that the application is completed with the requirements that you see. So the application doesn't include anything different other than what is shared, and then the multi-year school support plans go along with that as well. I will do my very best to answer any questions that you might have. I know that this is very heavy education language, but I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
So what will the personnel needs be for this?
The ones we've been sharing with you about the need for a special education assistant, we see the need for that. So we are keeping that in our budget conversations and also monitoring to see what else might be there and be available. So unfortunately, I know we were hopeful that that could be a position, like a part-time position we could get for the rest of the school year with some of these funds, but they very clearly stated you cannot use it for personnel.
But we do have it in our budget.
We have, yes.
Our proposal.
In our proposal, yes.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Did you tell us when you presented this to us a couple months ago, how many students make up these subgroup?
It changed to 15. It used to be 30. So we are talking about a minimum of 15 would be in that group.
So there's at least 15.
Correct. And the thing that's a little challenging with it is that number changes year to year. So keep that in mind that some years you might have different grade levels, have different numbers with that. And then the other piece that is a little more complicated is the benchmarks the state set will change every year. So we are doing our best to kind of aim high, you know, for that, knowing that every year they will recalculate those benchmarks. Okay. So this,
Can I just say thank you for your efforts? I know that you've been working extremely hard in a tight time frame, and thank our principals for your work, you know, and we bring to you a lot every month and try to show you all the great things that we have going on. Sometimes this is a little more in the weeds, but yet this is the most important thing that we do, instruction.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's a team effort for that. So for this, the action item that I will be requesting is that you approve the submission of our TSI application not requesting funds, as well as our school multi-year support plans, with the leeway, if there are minor changes from the state that are required, that you are okay with that. And of course, I would communicate that with you all.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve Dr. Hale's request as submitted?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Maddox and a second by Mr. Jones. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you all.
All right. Mr. Hudson, Magic School Bus, or Magic School, not school bus. That goes back to the child. Does that age me right now, Magic School Bus? So Magic School and AI update, I know,
Great show, by
man.
the way.
You know how many episodes of Magic School Bus I watched as a first round parent? A lot.
Ms. Tanner, Dr. Stanley, board, thank you. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give you guys an update and kind of the state of where we are with AI. If you're like me, I didn't really care about either team in the football game, but I do get excited about the commercials. But there was a lot of commercials about AI. I was kind of shocked about that. It had Claude AI in there. It had Copilot. It had Gemini. And it just kind of shows you where we are and how much stuff has changed going forward, especially when you have it in your Super Bowl ads. With this, I'm going to kind of give you an overview of where we are, where we've been with this. It still is only available for teachers currently. We do not have anything turned on for students yet. With the training, we have given all of our teachers our software with vector solution training, artificial intelligence for educators. They have all gone through that. Also, digital citizenship for educators, which includes a little bit of AI as well, sprinkled in that. There is 2 courses that are with that. There's one that is for elementary teachers, and there's one for secondary teachers. So it's blended based on the age appropriateness of it with that we have sent out this year. The ITRT, the Instructional Technology Resource Teacher Team, has done several things to help support AI with the teachers. During the summer, we had TLA, we had an artificial intelligence class, 2 of those that were offered. They have also helped to create AI guidelines to shore up what this will look like for students when we have this. So it addresses ethics, it addresses what it should look like in education, what it should look like addressing the big topics like plagiarism and those things as well. But that will continue to be built out as we do more with it as well. But we have developed that and put that in place. Digital citizenship program, we do have a monthly, it runs basically from October to right before SOLs go out. There is a theme for every month. We have developed that, and we started sprinkling a little bit of AI into that as well. February is a new month that starts off the cyberbullying. It follows the common sense media, kind of a lot of what they have. So they have some really good stuff in that. The ITRTs have also helped with giving PD to the teachers for Magic School, the one that we're definitely supporting that has a state, we piggybacked off of the data privacy agreement for that one so that it won't share our information with large language models. And we've also given some training on Adobe as well. We have turned off the generative AI part of Adobe. That is available, but we don't have that for students, but there's the ability to do, you could create some pictures so that a lot of times career posters and pictures, we do allow that with that. But the generative part has been turned off for students as of now. Magic School has continued to be one of the most widely used apps that we have introduced this year. With this, it gets kind of confusing looking at this chart, but this is the tools and the generations that were done by tool. It continues to be planning and chat. And when I say chat, it would be, the chat bot would be Raina, which is their chat, if you will. That has generated by far the most generations of the products that we have. And this kind of breaks it down, the same things, the tools. As you can see, Raina is the one that has the most generations by far. It continues to be lesson plans tend to be high on there. And we've noticed now that custom chatbots are slowly climbing that as well. So teachers are starting to, now that they've learned this a little bit more and we've helped support this, they are starting to create some custom agents to help them with some tasks that they need in the classroom as well. All right, so going forward, we're going to do a pilot with a small group of kids and teachers. So Teacher for Tomorrow teachers, it's 3 teachers. 4 teachers total, but 1 teacher doesn't have it this year. It'll be a total of 15 students in this small control group. And the idea is to truly get an idea of what this will look like through the student's use perspective and also gain an idea of what it looks like to walk alongside the teachers and to help them truly understand this. So this is to help them enhance their current lessons that they have, and it's not to create a new AI course. The idea is to continue to support ethical understanding, so the ITRTs will come alongside and train the teachers and be in the classroom to do some co-teaching and also do some training with the students when it comes on ethics as well when this rolls out. And this is not to replace any form of learning, it's to enhance it and to take the product that's there and to help them out as well. and to also help Tier 1 see what we can get out of this pilot with Tier 1 instruction and helping that as well. Again, with teachers, it's best practices. The ITRTs will be partnering with them on this program, and to truly look at any type of obstacles that might come up. So now that we will have a small sampling group, what will come up? What needs to change? What data can we get from this? What guardrails can we add to this, or do we need to add from this? Once you start getting students in there doing it and teachers doing it, I'm sure there will be some things that we'll learn from this that we will have to adjust with the guardrails or even the guidelines that we've kind of started to create as well. And then the idea is to grab data from this so that if we want to do any more expansion in the fall, we can do that. We would not want to do this for elementary. We would want to do it for middle school. I think the target could potentially be the high school level and also potentially the library. So we can look at those groups and see what this data supports with that. So for a timeline to give you an idea, so February the 19th, we'll have our first training here at the Tech Center. We'll have the Teacher for Tomorrow teachers here, the ITRTs. We'll go through, show them basically the introduction into the system. Some of them have used the system a little bit, some not so much, and truly try to find what tools fit and make sense the most for them. And also to set a date for the first time that we can meet with the students and show them some of the safeguards and make sure that we've got their best interest in hand. So that'll start off in the 19th. Then the idea would be in February, we're also going to do a student consent form with parents to make sure that everybody that's in this program is on board with it. The ITRTs would then start the program with the teachers, helping with instructional planning and also with students with getting the ethical part of it as well. Later in March, as this kind of goes forward a little bit, we'd start to do some reflection, get some feedback on this, see what needs to be changed, what the data starts to show, and then later towards the end of April, before we get into testing period, we would look at this and try to figure out what it looks like to best move forward with this program, what we learned, what we didn't learn as well. And then I've got any questions you have, and be glad to answer them as best I can.
Jillian, I look forward to picking your brain on Wednesday all about AI. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so
Appreciate
much.
it.
All right, Dr. Stanley.
Thank you, Ms. Chairman. Let me start by saying this month is School Board Appreciation Month, so thank you all for everything that you do. I know that our administrators, our parents, and our students, appreciate you, and I want to encourage you to get out, to get into our buildings, to see what's going on and be visible, because I know that they really appreciate the fact that you know what they're doing and the hard work that they're putting in. So, thank you for what you do. Next week is School Board Clerk Appreciation Week. So let me say in advance, thank you for what you do. And then February 15th is nationally recognized as School Resource Officer Appreciation Day. So to all of our resource officers, you're a vital part of what we do, and I want to thank you very much. And I have a lot of thanks tonight because, one, I'm thankful that tomorrow it's going to be 60 degrees. And we are very much thankful for that. Obviously, we have had a lot of action in the operations world over the past 2 weeks. I can't thank enough our maintenance staff. I know all of them, and their shoulders are, they could hardly lift their arms from beating the ice. And, getting out there early, getting our lots cleared off, to Dr. Ranella and our transportation staff, there's no telling. I would call Dr. Ranella and say, what are you doing? And he is digging buses out at our drivers' homes by himself. I mean, it was just a total team effort. Our food services department, I think we got out close to 1,000 meals while we were doing remote instruction. Obviously, our administrators for their communication with our teachers and getting our buildings ready, our teachers who were doing the remote instruction and being available from 9 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon every day that we're out to answer any questions our parents or students may have had. And then, of course, our parents and students. You did a great job. Everybody did. So hats off to you. And I also want to thank our finance department, because behind all the scenes, our finance department is installing a new software system that, if you've ever done that, that is a major task. And I think on one of the worst days we had in terms of weather, they were at central office on a Saturday morning at 6 o'clock, because that's when the training was supposed to take place, and they were there and they got it done. So thank you to everybody. In terms of our calendar, President's Day is still right now a national holiday, and we're going to stay closed unless you all tell me to do something different tonight. Obviously, I think everyone's earned it. I will tell you that our instructional hours, we're getting very close to the point where we might have to make up some time. Hopefully, we won't hit that, but I think we kind of estimated it today to be about 11 hours. Okay, that's what we have, essentially 2 days. And then we hit our 990 mark. We've also got 3 remote days that we can use, so there's some breathing room. But what I've been telling everybody is to kind of put that March 20th PD day on your radar if we do happen to have any weather, which hopefully we won't, bad weather, then we might have to use that as a snow makeup. So, as you all know, the month of March is budget season, so we have 2 school board meetings during that month. The first one is on March the 9th. And I really don't have anything new to share with you tonight, other than what I shared at the joint committee meeting last month with our supervisors. We've got the governor's budget and his recommendations, and that includes a 2% bonus at the end of this year, 2% raise next year, 2% raise the following year. There's some money there, but with changes in our local composite index, there's somewhat of a deficit for us right now. So we have to kind of work through that. But at the same time, we're still waiting for the budgets from the General Assembly. We need the Senate version, the House version. I think February 17th is when they're supposed to cross over, and we should get some clarity in terms of what they're thinking and how it aligns with the governor's budget. So, again, even on March the 9th, it's an estimation, guesswork, and then we'll come back at that second meeting and get you to approve what we present on that day. And then the last thing that I've got for you is just a reminder that the VSBA Regional Spring Forum is going to be held at GW Danville this year, and that's on March 25th. And I saw that the guest speaker is the newly appointed Secretary of Public Education, Dr. Jeffrey Smith. So that ought to be interesting. And that's all I've got.
That's all you got?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. All right, matters from the board. We'll start down there with Mr. Maddox.
Once again, I'd just like to thank everybody that helped with the career fair. I think that's a great thing that we do. And I would also like to thank our maintenance people and our custodians. And for me, Shane Dowdy, we had a tractor trailer coming in with basketball goals, and we couldn't get in there. He cleared the path for us. And our bus drivers, I didn't get any complaints, so that's a good day. But I know they had a rough time driving in it and whatnot. So thank you very much.
Mr. Pearman.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to say I did spend the time during this beautiful snowstorm we had, and I didn't have any phone calls about parents, I think, or any problems, I should say. I did have very good feedback about our decisions and when we decided to close and when we started to, come in late. Of course, you won't ever be able to please everybody, but I'll commend everybody in their efforts on trying to keep our kids engaged while they were out of school, and now that they're back, things seem to be rolling along really well. Over the past month, I got to get into William Campbell Combined and into Brooknell Elementary, and had a great time with Principal Harrison and Principal Cartwright. I got some highlights from them as well with Mr. Harrison. Friday, I will see you Friday. I'll actually be part of the marketplace because Miss Tanner kindly invited me, so I'll be down on Friday to see that. That's going to be a great real-life experience for them. We just had a girls leadership team meeting. I think Brittany Toon was our special guest there, and they have a field trip lined up to Liberty University on the 20th to tour the academic facilities and the athletic facilities. It's a great opportunity for our students to start thinking about the future. And coming up in Brookdale Elementary, we have a 4th and 5th grade musical that's coming out on March 3rd. So that's what we have going on at Brookdale. At William Campbell, I actually got to spend some time there today with Ms. Hale and Dakota Sage and a group of young students that are basically they're completing an assignment that has to help us get a grant, hopefully. We're under application for to help with our Future Center, which I think is very important. If you've not heard of the Future Center already, of course, please do some research for it. It's up and running in Alta Vista. Folks doing a great job there, and we're bringing that back to William Campbell, so I'm very pleased to hear about that and enjoyed that as well. I'll be with Mr. Stanley on Wednesday back here at the Tech Center as well for some interactions there. Some other things about William Campbell is the girls basketball team is a 4 seed right now in Region 1. And the JV basketball team is now undefeated. They're 11-0. Continuing on their winning streak, so they're doing a great job there. But that's all I have for this time. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Vaughn. All right. Well, I also wanted to say thank you to our school board clerks and our SROs and all of our staff that helped clean off the snowcrete. If you did any snow shoveling over the break, I did some, and they would break off in like 50-pound pieces that I'd have to throw off of my driveway. So I've never experienced anything like that before. I hope everyone was safe and got to enjoy the snow during our snow break. I know my family did. We had some great sledding, and that layer of ice on top definitely made things move a little faster than expected. I wanted to thank everyone who worked so hard to clear the snow and ice from our facilities, and I especially want to recognize our bus drivers and transportation staff. They truly show up every day and do an amazing job, often dealing with things completely out of their control. I also want to thank Dr. Ranella for going above and beyond, even shoveling drivers' driveways himself so our kids could get to school. That did not go unnoticed. While we're talking about transportation, I did have a little bit of time over the snow break to look into GPS bus tracking software. If we can track our DoorDash order down to the minute, I think we could probably find a reasonable way to track our buses and keep parents informed. As a busy mom of 2 bus riders, I've stood at the bus stop for half an hour only to realize the bus came early. Nobody did anything wrong, but in those moments it can be really frustrating for parents. GPS bus tracking could help with communication around delays or cancellations and take some pressure off of our drivers and staff, and I do think it's worth us taking a serious look at. I've provided a few examples for the board to explore if they'd like. I got you right here. Aside from that, this is Virginia Kindness Week with fun spirit days happening across our schools and Valentine's celebrations in many classrooms. Leesville Road also has spring pictures coming up on February 18th, a Spirit Day on February 26th, and a Career Day on April 4th. Do you have anything to add? Yes. Yes, I think we can all agree on that. Finally, I wanted to recognize our incredible school counselors, as last week was National School Counseling Week, and all of our principals, as I missed Principal Appreciation Week in January. We do have a truly outstanding staff, and I am grateful for all that they do. That's all I've got. All right, thank you. Mr. Jones.
Dr. Shields, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to prepare something to say in David's absence. But Mr. Bennett, tell us about Concord. I saw you sneak in. Tell us about Concord.
We had a couple of things. Just getting back into the routine is great. We have our Valentine's Day coming up this Friday. And the next Thursday, we have a pair of teacher conferences. And then we have a musical on the following Thursday. So that's pretty good.
What about your scores on your...
So very happy, yeah, the early scores and all of the schools have really seen some improvement in our math scores and vowels testing and things like that. We're seeing some movement that we hadn't seen in years, so it's really exciting. So
Good.
that's probably the most positive thing of all.
Good. Dr. Shields, I give you enough time to prepare a speech. I did come and see your play last week. It was great. You got Brookville doesn't hold all of that acting in Campbell County. Rustburg's got some great ones.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job representing all hallmarks. Fantastic romance movies. Had a great time at the career fair last week. Big shout out to our SCA for showing up for that. We are celebrating National FBLA Week this week with some Spirit Days. And then congrats, I'm not going to name all of them, but congrats to all of our stock market winners for the first semester.
What winners?
Stock market came.
Oh, okay. Who was a winner I need to meet, he or her?
Come see Ms. Booth's second block class.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I want to thank Dr. Hale and Mr. Hudson for your presentations. It was really, really great. Jillian, thank you again for coming. And her parents, y'all got a lot to be proud of. I mean, I know you're probably going to hesitate to see her go away for 4 years, but she'll really, really do great up there. Trust me. I just appreciate all y'all coming. Rustburg Middle School is having their play tomorrow night, Thursday night, and Friday night, and it's Alice in Wonderland Jr. I think I got that right. It starts at 6:30. I think every board member, I'm pretty sure, got an email from Mr. Nagy in January, and he wants us as pairs or individuals to come and speak to his class on a Monday or Wednesday from 11:20 to 12:35. So try to go over and help him. He's a great guy, and he's got a great class. And again, thank everybody that did anything with ice or snow. Dr. Vanilla, I mean, just everything y'all did to put up with all this mess. I know what you've been dealing with. You should get some kind of award. And again, appreciate all the donations. And reading in minutes from last meeting, Mr. Pearman, it appeared I failed to welcome you to our board at the last meeting, but certainly we welcome you to our board. I'm sorry I didn't say it last month, but we certainly look forward to working with you in the next years.
That is not a problem at all. You were the first person to call and welcome me.
Well,
since we were on Parks and Rec together, so I appreciate that.
Right.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
That's all you got? All right. Well, I'm not going to repeat everything that everybody said, but thank you to everybody that had worked for that Snow Creek, and we're really excited. I'm excited because I've got a son that's at Tech as well, so I feel your pain. I'm heading to Blacksburg tonight, but you'll have a wonderful time, I promise you. So my role in this vice chair, as I was reminded, although I think I was aware of previously, was the legislative kind of informant for the board. So I took it, as those who know me well, pretty seriously. And so you got a 4-page review of current House bills and Senate bills in the Virginia General Assembly that might have an impact for us. So I did not go through, actually I read all of them. I only pulled out a handful that are either likely to pass, or if they were to pass, could have some financial concerns, right? Or some pretty significant operational concerns, just so that we've got them on our radar, just like I did with SB 220. I'll send you emails. Kristen had sent that one response as well, and so you've got them. Some of them are coming into SBVA or VSBA as far as updates and reminders. But I will tag along with those if it's something that's going to have a significant impact for us in the county and for our school system. But I've got that for you guys. Key highlights, really, I think one that we know is coming through, and y'all have heard me say before, our water safety instruction. I think that one's inevitable. That's going to pass. There's a House bill that's very similar. There's a Senate bill very similar, and they're both passing through pretty quickly. It's pretty much just including water instruction in our PE. Water safety instruction, our PE. I'd love to move it a step further into actually doing what some places across the state do, and they actually have their 2nd or 3rd or 4th graders actually attend swim lessons for those that do not have them, and they support that. We've got some Ys close by that maybe we can look into making that partnership as this comes into place, and we've got some connections for the Y that we might be able to make some things happen. But that one, I think that's high likelihood that's coming through. The other ones, I mentioned the one with diabetes. I think that with the blend is going to come through. Physical activity,
That could have a little bit of an issue. I think we've talked about that one, about increasing from 20 minutes to 30 minutes for mandatory physical activity for elementary students, actually for all students, but the elementary student schedule, that could have some operational impacts. Although I think we can all agree that that's a wonderful thing. Finding an extra 10 minutes in a day schedule can be hard, and so we might have to get really creative with our teachers in trying to support that bill comes through. By all means, we talked about the high school athletic eligibility one. The AI chatbots, there's actually a bill saying prohibiting students to have to be forced to use the AI chatbots, and so that might affect us a little bit looking with our Magic School. I have a feeling that one might get diminished before it gets too much farther. So there's a review, there's key components on the back side of that for you guys to have.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm just stretching my hand.
Oh, I was like, do you have a question? So take one. So y'all have them? And that's,
I got one more thing to say.
oh, well, go right ahead.
You did a great job tonight.
Well, thank you.
Yes, you did.
Thank you very much. All right, well, with,
And Madam Chairman, I have one thing that I omitted if I
oh, please,
could.
go right ahead.
So there's two people that I like to highlight out of my area of responsibility. I actually asked Mr. Harrison and Mr. Cartwright to talk to me about two people that they felt like each were going above and beyond in the school. So I got some very good feedback from that. So I'd like to recognize Ms. Hannah Smith. She was the school's General of the Month last month. And Ms. Smith is not only a teacher, she's an assistant softball coach, a former William Campbell alumni as well. She also teaches biology, chemistry, anatomy, and weightlifting. What a combination. But she teaches all four of those, and her biology students, 100% of them pass the biology SOL. So that is huge. So thank you very much to Hannah Smith. I literally watched her grow up, and she reminds me every time I see her of my age. The other highlight for Brookneal would be Miss Jessica Cox. She comes to work every day eager. She pushes her students to learn. She's student-centered, and she's a clear teacher, clear picture of what it's like to love teaching. So thank you, Jessica Cox, for everything that you're doing at Brookneal Elementary. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And with that, we come to the adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Vaughn, second by Mr. Pearman, and all in favor, you can close your laptops.
You did great. You did great.
That's not my first one. Thank you.
Good job, Madam Chairman.
You really did. All right, so what they've done so far, they're writing all this stuff for me.
Sorry, my son just
Amy,
lost
did you
his-
get one?
Oh, hey, all right.
Okay.
I got tooth fairy duties.
Yeah.